what does Patrick Mahomes' contract mean for Dak Prescott? Now, a lot of Cowboy fans are either one, they're upset, or number two, they're still trying to figure out what's going on with this contract situation. Dak Prescott last week signed his franchise tender, and if Dak Prescott plays through this, gets franchised again, and plays through that, I find it very hard to believe that he will sign long term or sign at all any type of extension with the Cowboys. But what does this Patrick Mahomes contract mean for Dak Prescott? So there has been talks that Dak Prescott is not looking for a long term deal anyways. This is not what he's trying to do. The problem reportedly, according to some of the insiders, is that the Cowboys actually offered him a 7-year deal. So they offered him a long term deal to remain the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is looking for a shorter term deal to where he's able to re-up. And again, he's not going to set the market ever with a lot of the other quarterbacks in the league, especially Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. But he wants to position himself to where after a few years, if he continues to play at a high level, he could sign a contract that's more in line with what the market is offering. And we know that the quarterback market is just going to continue to grow. It's just going to continue to go up as far as the amount of money, the average. So he wants to position himself. He wants to bet on himself. And the Cowboys are not, they're not willing to do that. They want him long term, which they're showing him, but they don't want to give him the power to continue to not set the market, but continue to get paid near the top of the market when it comes to quarterbacks. The Eagles did a good job. The Rams did a good job in locking in their quarterbacks for, long term, relatively, and not worrying about, okay, they're not like Darrelle Revis, who was taking 1-year deals and resetting the cornerback market every single year. That's really betting on yourself. But Dak Prescott wants a shorter term deal, and I'm sure that him seeing seeing Pat Mahomes' contract extension is upsetting. I know it's one of those things where you're happy. I'm sure that Dak Prescott's happy for Pat Mahomes, but I'm also sure that he's human. He sees what's going on. He sees that teams that believe in their franchise quarterback gives the franchise quarterback what they want, and he's not getting what he wants. I'm sure, again, he's happy about Mahomes getting his money, but he also wants his money. He wants his security blanket. He wants to feel that he's cared about, that he's, taken care of. And again, this has to hit him right where it hurts, because this deal should have been done a while ago. Dak Prescott has shown more than enough in, his time in the NFL that he deserves to be, top 10 paid quarterback. And, who knows what he's asking for on an annual basis. But the way that Dak Prescott is wanting his contract to set up is that I'm sure he understands that Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson are all going to get paid around the same time, and their extensions are going to be able to take effect around a certain time. That's around the 2023 football season. Dak wants his contract to kind of go up to that point or right around there to see how he'll have his money, but he'll see how those other guys are playing. And then he could go back to the negotiating table again and say, hey, look, this is what I've done for this team. These are what these young top quarterbacks are getting paid. I'm ready for my re-up. So, it's a smart decision by Dak Prescott for, definitely betting on himself, since the Cowboys offered him reportedly a 7-year deal to lock him up long term. But I'm sure it wasn't, the numbers that Dak Prescott was talking about. But this has to hurt for Dak Prescott. And Cowboy fans, there are some Cowboy fans that, think Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC. Okay, well, Jerry Jones doesn't think that because he doesn't want to pay him that way. And Jerry Jones is not willing to set the market with Dak Prescott. And because if he was, he would have done it already, and he would have done it before Pat Mahomes. And he would have done it before Carson Wentz. A lot of these guys, Dak Prescott is seeing that these quarterbacks, Jared Goff, Wentz, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson's in contract negotiations with the Houston Texans. These guys are getting extensions with time still left on their deal. Pat Mahomes still had 2 years left on his contract before he got this extension, 10-year extension. Pat Mahomes could have waited until, a couple more years to sign or to negotiate a contract. But this, contract like this, 10 years, almost $500 million, that's like baseball money. So it's, you can't fault him for taking that type of deal, especially in a time with COVID and, the economy. You don't know where the economy is going. You don't know how sports and fan interaction is going to take place in the future. But Pat Mahomes is locking his money up. He's securing the bag. And Dak Prescott wants to secure his bag. He's going to get money because he signed his franchise tenure, so he can get $30 million off rip. But what is he going to get the year after that? And if he gets franchised again, he'll get, he might get around $40 million. But what does he get the year after that? Those are the questions that Dak Prescott's thinking about. What do I get after that? There's no security in 1-year deals. Darrelle Revis he was a one-off. He was an exception. He was an outlier. He's one guy that's willing to sign 1-year deals, and he knows that he's going to perform in that 1 year, so he can set the market again the next year and just continue to go at market rate. He knows his value. He believes in himself. Athletes aren't doing that now. They still want the security, which you can't blame them for. But it just seems like there's some type of disagreement with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys organization on, long term or short term. And I could care less on what the hell they do. For all I care, let Dak Prescott walk, get him out of the division. But Jerry Jones is doing what he got to do to make sure Dak Prescott knows that he's not valued with the organization. And I think this is not good for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys negotiation. I think, again, Dak Prescott in the back of his mind is saying, hey, I wasn't going to get that type of money like Mahomes, but he's getting a deal with 2 years left on his contract. He's getting paid. They're taking care of him. I just want to have that same feeling of, the Cowboys wanting me, taking care of me, worrying about what I want to lead this team. And the Cowboys haven't showed that. They paid Andy Dalton to kind of put the pressure on Dak Prescott. And, we'll see how this plays out. I'm going to be laughing all the way, especially if this goes south. I'll be there to talk about it on this podcast. You know that. But that's all I got to say about that. Let me know in the comment section what you think the Pat Mahomes deal is how that's going to affect Dak Prescott's negotiation with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for more fire sports takes. And for those of you who are on the go, make sure you subscribe to our full show, which airs every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and a bunch more. Until then, I'm chucking it up, and I'll see you guys next time.